The 2016 WAC Student Athletic Advisory Committee, better known as SAAC, met this past week down in Phoenix at Grand Canyon University.
Well, the purpose is really to make sure that the student athletes are prepared after they graduate. So everything from mock interviews and resume, cover letter, that's all incorporated in it. And so a lot of times they're available to the student athletes, but this is all in one chunk. And being able to do it with different people from different universities allows them to learn from one another. And so that was really an important piece that we wanted to incorporate in this Life After College conference.
2 student athletes from each school in the WAC met for the Life After College conference. There were various speakers and exercises to help the student athletes after graduation.
Well, it's imperative. One of the statistics they gave was that there's only 1.4% basketball players that actually go pro. And that is such a small number. So most of us are not going to be professional athletes, and we're going to need those skills in the workforce. And so one of the things we touched on was athletics really prepares you for that. And the problem is you're spending so much time doing your sport that you're not getting a chance to develop those things outside of sports. And so it's important that we know how to leverage that when we're telling people of how we learned about those things. What are some of the challenges we face? How do we overcome them? And then being able to use those skills in the workforce.
This entitled resume writing, cover letter writing, transition from student athlete to professional life, developing your personal brand, and even financial planning.
No matter what your background is, as well as no matter what your future will be, you'll have a personal financial situation that you're going to have to deal with, whether that's putting a budget together or properly saving for either yourself or your family. What does that look like, and what steps do I need to take to make sure I reach my goal?
After some of the speakers, the student athletes had some interview prep that contained actual do's and don'ts of interviews, and then it was mock interview time. Just like athletes watch film to grow and improve, GCU set up its film room to let the student athletes watch what they did right and wrong, led by Associate Director of Biogen IDEC, Jenna Holen.
I'd say watching our mock interviews, because see, when you're in that situation, it's kind of like, okay, what did I say? Because you're focused on so many things. So being able to watch yourself speak, how you interact with the interviewer was a huge help for me.
The whole session, I think it was great. I mean, not just looking at what I did well or what I did wrong, but looking at what my peers did right or wrong, because those are the same issues that I was having. So actually having someone else see and look through what we were actually doing well and doing wrong was great. Because I mean, like, it's all about the outside influence. I mean, when I look at myself, I'm like, oh yeah, you did a great job, or you look nice. But when you get someone else's opinion, it's like, okay, yeah, maybe that isn't the best, So that was definitely, I love that. And that we only had one speaker talking about it, but more people actually looked at it and gave insights on that also. So we got advice, from 3 or 4 people, even though only one person was actually saying it.
Interviewing well is very important, but so is networking. The student athletes had the opportunity to attend a networking dinner.
In order to get a job after college, I think you have to know people. And I learned about a website called LinkedIn, and I'm going to get in that. And I think that's huge, because without networking, it's really hard to get a job if you don't know anybody, and knowing people is really huge in this world and our society today. That's where I met Paul Waterman. That's where I really started my networking life. I got his information, and we talked for a long time. We talked at dinner, and then we talked a little bit after dinner. I learned a lot. That's where I learned about the real estate, how he started. It's very successful at such a young age, 21 years old.
At the very end of the day, it is always important to be able to kick off those work shoes and have a little bit of fun with team building and leadership exercises and even some bowling.
I'm really hoping this conference is kind of a launching pad. I really want these students to go back to each of their universities and be delegates and be able to come up with a program that they can use on their campus, and hopefully something that they can then instill in their juniors and seniors, so that the WAC as a whole will have student athletes who are prepared for life after college.